Weatherford, Texas is a classic part of Americana, part of the heartland. And a part of the heart of Weatherford is an attorney named Jack Borden. Jack is truly one of a kind. He's the only full-time attorney who's enjoyed 101 birthdays. That's right, 101. Recently, a group called Experience Works gave Jack a national award. As usual, he led with his humility when asked about this prestigious award.
Well, let me tell you, Paul, it's mind-boggling to me that an old country boy grew up on a farm, tenant farmer's son, would live to see the day that he was chosen as the outstanding older worker for the entire United States. Now, that's just not possible. That's the way I feel.
Jack's had a lot of challenges to overcome in his 101 years. He grew up very poor and he had to drop out of high school, but he found a unique way to get into college.
If you were 21 years of age and didn't have a high school diploma, you could get in Weatherford Junior College, which is what they call community colleges now, established by the Masonic Lodge in 1869 here in Parker County. Big organization. I found that out. Well, when I was 21 years old, which was in 1929, beginning really of the Depression, I decided I'm going to try it. So I quit my job, came back, my folks had already come back, came back to Weatherford, enrolled in Weatherford College. But I had to work, we were poor. I got a job on the weekends working with J.C. Penney.
Jack's determination paid off. He graduated from college and then he headed off to the University of Texas to start law school. But it was the Great Depression and times were hard. And so to survive, he had to deliver ice, sell newspapers, even wait tables in an old boarding house to earn his rent.
The house was on the ground, level with the ground in front. It was about 10 feet off the ground in the back. And when we got off the steps, you meant to turn around to the left. Over there was a homemade door. Had a hasp and a piece of wood in it to hold the door closed. She opened up that door and said, there was a platform with a bed, a table, and a chest of drawers in it. Said, this is your room. All the rest of it around me was dirt floor. Had a string, had a wire for clothes, hang my clothes on.
40 years after graduating from law school, Jack was once again faced with a major life challenge when his doctor told him he was going to have to quit practicing law.
35 years ago, had a physical. Blood pressure was 210 over 110. The doctor said, you got to quit practicing law. I said, doctor, I can't. I said, I've got to be doing something. He said, what can you do and not be under all this pressure? I tried lawsuits, I tried them hard. And I told him, probate and real estate. But that's all I've done for the last 35, 40 years.
So he found a way to keep going. Now Jack's enjoyed his time practicing law for over 70 years. So I asked him, Jack, how did you choose your career?
The good Lord pointed me to be a lawyer. And that's the reason I studied law. How do you know when God talks with you anytime? It's something that gets on you that you keep on thinking about, and you decide that maybe God wants me to do this. And I had never been in the courtroom. I didn't have any lawyers that I was enamored with and thought they were the greatest people. I suspect that he pointed me towards the law because I was going to be a preacher. And he said, well, this is next to being a preacher. You can do a lot of good. And there was never any question in my mind but what I had chosen the right profession. It was something I wanted to do. And I realized if I had the determination that I could do pretty well.
And his simple advice for those who are unhappy in their career?
I would change professions. I had a neighbor, well, he was my neighbor when he died, as an attorney. They had one child, a boy, and he wanted to be an engineer. Mother and Dad insisted he be a lawyer. He went to law school. He didn't want to practice law. He never did practice law. Now, he did some office practice. In fact, he was in office with us for a few years. He died young, and I think that's one reason. He was just depressed that he didn't do what he wanted to do.
Well, few have had a longer or more productive life than Jack. So, of course, I had to ask him his secret. He told me about answering the very same question for a newspaper reporter.
During the interview, he said, "Do you mind telling me what you think caused your longevity?" And I said, "Well, no." He said, "What is it?" And I said, "Not dying." Well, he looked puzzled, and then he started laughing. I said, "No, seriously. I'm one of these people that believe, whether it's good or bad, that God has His hand in everything that happens, and that He's leaving me here for a reason."
And his answer to why he keeps working was just as simple and just as profound.
To live. Paul, if I quit, I wouldn't live. I've worked since I was 5 years old. My dad sent me to the farm out the field, a corn patch, and said, "The weeds and grass are getting in that cornfield. Go out there and get rid of them." I've worked all my life. We had a 4-day holiday week before last, Thanksgiving. We closed up here on Wednesday and didn't come back till Monday. Well, I made it pretty well the first 2 days, but after that, well, it was really boring. But I come down here, I get to do things, it keeps my mind alive, I get to see people, I get to help people. Somebody asked me when I was going to retire, and I said, well, and I told them why. I said, when one of the gals comes into the office and they find me with my head on the desk and they can't rouse me, I'll be retired.
Like every person I've ever talked to who's found genuine joy in their life, Jack has learned to do what he does for the good of others.
I have people come in here, maybe 50 years ago, I did something for them. And they tell me how much they appreciate it, something I'd forgotten, but they remember. But when you do something for somebody and they really appreciate it, then you feel like I've done some good. I've got a probate matter here right now that I'm representing the 5th generation of that family. Now, you do something for somebody, they come and thank you, you can't have any more pleasure.
Jack's accomplished a lot, so I asked him, what do you value most from your career, and how do you want to be remembered?
That old saying, you know, if a man has one friend, he's worth $1 million. Well, law's mercy. I've looked around, I'm worth more than the national debt because I have that many friends. I just want to be remembered as a man that he was your friend. If he told you something, it would be exactly what he told you, and that he was not going to ever do anything to hurt you. That's about all you need to have.
For over 70 years, Jack Borden has practiced law in Weatherford, Texas. He's received awards, national notoriety, and he's even had a street named after him in his hometown. He's a model for what it means to be steadfast in our pursuit of a calling, and a great example of how to experience joy in life by serving others. I'm certain that Jack will get his wish to be remembered as a good man who lived to help others. And as he said, what more could you want?